Let's talk about installing electric and setting it up and some common things that you should know. So I'm going to start by showing where we can download information about electric, and so we go to cmosedu.com, and then if we click on this link to electric here, we get a link to the main electric web page where you can download the latest binary release or source release and get other information like the manual. Okay, so basically you need to follow the directions on this web page here at cmosedu.com and electric. So I've gone on ahead and installed electric following those directions. And I've got an icon here which I can select properties. I've set my start in directory at c:electric, and then I've got the command line prompt. Notice I'm using version 8.05 here that I copied directly from that page at cmosedu, and I downloaded the icon so that I could make a shortcut on my desktop. Again, all just following the simple directions at cmosedu. Okay, so let's go start electric. Now in this I have no setups, I've done nothing. But so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the electric message window. Then I'm going to tile this window, and I'm going to go up to the window and then adjust position and then tile horizontally. You know, I'm going to be doing that often. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my file edit, and I'm going to hit preferences, which I can also get to by clicking on this icon right here of preferences. Then I'm going to select key bindings. I'm going to go over to window, and I'm going to put or select, as I just did, adjust window position, tile horizontally. I'm going to make a shortcut to that. I'm going to call it T for first stroke. I'm going to call it T for adding or for tiling horizontal. So I hit add, and I see that it's also associated with something else, edit text, add text annotation. I'm going to go ahead and remove all and just leave it here for tile horizontally. Okay, so if I go back now and I adjust the position here, and I have two windows or more, I can hit T and they'll automatically tile. Alright, the next thing I can do is open a library. I'm going to go and open a library, which I can use Control-O, but instead I'm going to go change the key bindings here, and File, Open Library, Add. I'm going to press O, Add, and it says, hey, there's a conflict. Edit selection waveform current panel, and I'm going to say remove all. And I'll go do a few others while we're here. Let's see. How about display? Whoops. Wrong one. Key bindings. Let's go to, let's close File for the moment and go to Window. And Fill Window or Fit. I'm going to go ahead and just use F for that. And then let's see, what's another good one that we can look at? Special Zoom. Special Zoom Box. I'm going to use that as Z. Oops. Add Z. Add. Etc. And you can set these up for your preferences. Now a couple others and then we'll quit. Tools, DRC is set up as F5. I'm going to leave it like that. The Spice, Generate Spice Deck, I'm going to set up as S. And then I'm going to set the plot Spice for this cell, I'll set up as P. And then let's see, what's another good one we can do? NCC or LVS. I'm going to go add and set that up as L, and so forth. And so that's okay. We'll leave it like that. Now, next thing I'm going to do before I open a library or create a library is I'm going to go look at what's set up here in the project settings, and I'll look at the scale, and I'm going to set my scale to 300 nanometers. That's lambda, and for the examples I'm going to do in these tutorials, a lambda of 300 nanometers or 0.3 microns corresponds to the AMI, or American Microsystems Incorporated, C5 process, and you'll see examples using this process at CMOS EDU. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the technology, and I'm going to change the technology to 3 layers. Now again, we don't have to use 3 layers. We could set it up for 6 layers or whatever, but I'm going to leave it at 3 layers. Okay, so I'm going to write project settings file, and then if I go, oops, let's see, did I erase that? So technology, oops, wrong one. Project settings, 3 layers, technology, scale. Okay, it's all sitting there. Okay, cancel. So if I were to, in the later libraries, open library, desktop, new folder, if I open one of the libraries that's already there and click on a cell, inverter 20, this is in the first layout, we'll see that everything's set up. Now, a couple of comments here. If I go take a look in the directory where I copied, following the directions, my electric jar file or my Java file, the place where I've stored the bind key settings or colors or whatever is not associated with this file. It's a registry change associated with this, and I'll show you how to delete that or to modify that in a moment. But notice I can double click on that jar file and start electric as well if I don't want to set up an icon. And now I can tile Windows, press T, I can press O for open a library, etc. So we'll just hit cancel, and let's go ahead and open a library. I'll open one that's press O, one that's later on in the tutorials. And we'll just look at a layout. Let's look at something a little interesting. How about this? This is an inverter layout fit. Now I don't like this color scheme, so I'm going to go up here to Tool and Color Schemes, White Background Colors. And now I can see what that looks like. Hit Control G and I can zoom in on this and go back and etc. Hit Fit and or fill and fill the window. But you know what? I might want to have black background colors. I can zoom in, on here if I want, in a little corner. I can zoom out. I probably set up more bind keys because I like X for zoom out and special zoom, zoom box. Zoom in on like that, etc. So fit. Anyway, let's say I wanted to, so I've set up all these colors. Now I go back here and I say, let's say I want to use cadence colors. So it says, hey, do you want to back up your preferences? Because we're going to, before importing cadence values, because you know what? It's going to be hard to get those preferences back if you haven't backed them up when you import the cadence value. So I'm going to say no. Now watch what's going to happen to my transistors. So I say no. Now I get the default cadence views, and let's go ahead and put it on a white background now, or restore default colors. And it's hard for me to see. And no matter what I do, unless I go in and adjust the layers individually, I can't change the cadence color back from the cadence colors. And so I don't want to go in and adjust those layers, and I didn't save my preferences. So what I'm going to do And this is something you might have to do if you don't know what you're doing and you change values, or you've messed up your bind keys, or you just want to get back to stage 1 and it has no effect on your libraries. If you go into, and this is in the electric users group, if you go into the command line and you type reg edit for register edit, reg edit, if you go up to JavaSoft, Preferences, Sun, Electric, and you can go in and delete specific things, technology, the colors, all that. Or if you want to restore everything exactly to default, you can just delete that Electric subdirectory there. Now when I go restart Electric, I pull it up. There's my windows. Now my bind keys are gone. So I have no bind keys. I have no, what was it, fill window, zoom out, zoom in. I have no bind keys, nothing. My color schemes are gone. I'm back to state 0. So if I want to fill or tile, I go to Window, Adjust Position, Tile horizontally, etc. And I can stretch it out, and then I can go, oops, let's make this all full size. Pull this down, pull this across, Tool, Adjust Position, Tile horizontally, etc. And now I can open my library. If I go back into my project settings, technology, I'm back at 6 layers, so I can always back up. Now notice this has nothing. Actually, let's leave this, cancel, make sure that didn't change. Nope, didn't change. Now I can open up the library. Now I have 6 layers of metal, and I have lambda of 200 nanometers. I'm going to open up one of those other libraries. Again, it defaults to how I have it set up in my icon there on the desktop. Whoops, desktop. And I go to New Folder, and let's just open this one, CMOS EDU 13. It says, hey, the current value is 6 layers of metal, lambda 200. The library value is 3 layers, and Moses scale is 300. Do I use all the current values of 6 layers of metal, which metal 6, metal 5, metal 4, metal 3, metal 2, metal 1, etc., or do I use the current settings or the library settings? So do I use the above settings, or do I use the current or all new settings that I have right here? Well, I'm going to use the above settings. Now notice how we only have metal 3, metal 2, metal 1 now. And let's see what happened in our project settings. Technology, 3 layers of metal, scale 300 nanometers. So it automatically set it to what the library was set up for. So let's go over, and before we quit, let's get it back, which is what I'm going to use for the remainder of these tutorials, which is I'm going to use a white background. I'm going to go into my key bindings, and that's, let's use this, key bindings, right here. And then I'm going to go to File, Open Library, Add, and just press O. It shows up as capital O even though I just press O on the keyboard. Add, remove all. What was another one? Let's close File and go to View. Nope. Window, Fill Window, Add, F, Add, remove all. And then what was another one I use? Redisplay window, zoom out, zoom in. Oh, zoom out, I'm going to call add, I'm going to call that one X. Remove all, so that just zooms out. Let's see, toggle grid, adjust position, I'm going to put that as T. Some of these bind keys I pick because I'm used to using Cadence, and that's what I had it set up for in Cadence. So let's see, what else? 3D viewer, I'm going to go ahead and set that to 3. Add, So when I want to do a 3D view, I just press 3. And then I need to do a special zoom, but there's a special way I want to do that. So I'm going to go check out the zoom before I do anything else. Tools. I'll do the Spice, Generate Spice Deck, Add, S, Add, Remove All. I'm going to do the Plot Spice Deck as P, Add, Remove All. I'm going to use the NCC as Add, L for LVS, Add. And again, you can set these up to the way you want. And I think that's about it. I use the majority of them I use are the default. Say OK. I'm going to open one of these. I'm going to open this up, look inside. Or we can push down inside that if we wanted. Let's go to Window, Special Zoom, Focus, Zoom Box. Let's try that. Let's set the bind key up so Z does Zoom Box. So File, Bind Keys, Windows, Special Zoom, Zoom Box, Add Z. Okay. Fit, Expand, Fit, Z. Alright, we're looking good. We can move around quite a bit here. Now let's do one more thing before we quit. I'm going to want to set up this to do spice simulations, so I can view that with viewing the cell. Let's do the layout version. Do the area, which I've selected. Select area. Let's turn that on. View all. Now hit Control G. Turns on the grid if I want that. I want to set up a spice now to run a spice simulation, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to CMOS EDU, click on Electric, whoops, HSpice rather, and then I'm going to copy this command here. This is what I'm using. I'll keep this open just to remind me how things work. I'll set it up to run HSpice, and I'll set it up just to run I'll set Electric up just to run regular Spice. So let's go back to Electric, go to Preferences, Tools, Spice. Get set up at HSpice. I'm going to turn the parasitics off. I'm just going to use Spice 3. Now I'm going to make sure I put this Spice level as Spice 3. Because if I don't, it's going to add in level 1 or level 2 models. Output standard. Let me just verify that's what I have in my standard. And then I'm going to leave all this other stuff blank for the moment because I'm just going to generate a spice deck for LT Spice, not HSpice here. Say OK. Then I can press S or built-in spice, write spice deck, and say save. Then I'm going to go back to, there's my net list, which I've already associated files ending in SPI with LT Spice, again linked to the CMOS EDU webpage. Run, and I'll display these. And there's the simulation. Now I'm going to go back and set up the Spice to run with HSpice, so I can run things with HSpice now. I'm going to run ignore output, use directory C:, of course this is all directly on that page, override existing, run prompt, it's on the page right here, Electric, override existing, and then I copied from right here what my HSpice directory, where it's located, and I'm going to paste that into run program here and then say OK. Now note that Electric outputs an SPI file, and HSpice wants an SP file, so we'll just hit OK. And then let's go generate our spice, which I could get just by pressing S. And let's see, cannot run C:\synopsis in directory. Am I not running my virtual client? Let's go try running it directly from the web page here. Okay, it's running now. I'm running this through a virtual private network. So we'll go to File. Oops. Let's go to, I'll just press S. Can't run C:\HSpice Z 2007. Let me make sure that my properties set up right. Oh, that's interesting. This is the start in directory, but this is, so I've got a typo. I'll fix that on the web page. So I'll do a control copy. Then I'll go back to electric and go to preferences, and then I'll go control paste. Okay. Let's see what happens now. Oh, it just ran this. Let's open star.spi. There's the file. Oh. But the problem is HSpice wants to see an SP file, so we'll rename that to an SP file. Yes, and now it goes to an HSpice. And then we'll go ahead and run it from here. And then in the last CMOS 13, I'll go over using HSpice again. So let's just, let's go run it from the GUI. Open. Let me just make sure it looks okay. Looking good. Simulate. Okay. There's my output file. And then we'll go into electric. We'll go spice, plot spice for this cell, P. No simulation, data found, waveform window not shown. Huh. 13:1 divider. Let's try it one more time. Alright, well I'll stop right here, and in the last one using HSpice, I'll cover using HSpice with electric again.